Right. Hey guys, good morning. My name is Alexander and this is my group mate Sean. Today we would like to talk about or we'll give a lesson about leadership and motivation, and we're gonna relate it to everything, how they try to find out how those are related. To start, we're gonna relate everything, the whole lesson with Natahu and their organization as a laser cost pools. To start, Natahu is the biggest e-way in New Zealand. It has 1,000 of investments around the whole country, and nowadays it's extending to Australia. One of those areas of investment is in tourism, and in tourism is Glacier Hot Pools. Hot Pool is an organization who cares body and spa and sauna. It means it has eight natural hot pools, 5 private and 3 public, and a huge area and massage and spa. To start, we have been thinking about the motivation, how the motivation is implemented in this organization. To start, we have a theory, according to the theory of Peter and Lauer's theory, who related the effort, performance, and satisfaction. As a perform is the energy put in activity on a job from a group. This performance is the result according to that energy put in that job or activity, and satisfaction, the feeling at the end when the job or activity is achieved. Now, according to Spencer Jackson in his book Who Moved My Cheese, he talked about different aspects in motivation, and he said why motivation is important. From those aspects, we have got 3. One is more commitment, satisfaction, and communication. He said that commitment is one of the biggest or one of the most important reasons why we motivate people, or why the manager or leaders motivate a group of people or just a person in general. As the same as he said, the motivation increases the satisfaction of a person or group of people doing a job, making them feel comfortable or feel in a way they are important in this kind of job. Then, as a communication, the motivation or the communication is the most important way to give a motivation, influence, communicate motivation. Then, there are different, according to Lauren Millis in his book, her book, Management and Organization Behavior, she talks about different aspects of how to influence different motivation in a right or bad way. One of those is the respect of the culture. She said that as a leader or as a manager of an organization or group work, respecting the culture and background of the different people will influence it and right motivation for that group of people. Then they say the great attitude. She said the attitude is one of the biggest or is the important influences of a motivation. It depends on the motivation of me as a leader or me as an employee will be guaranteed the achievement of my job. And then as a happiness, she said that happiness or the right environment, making a right environment of an activity or in a work will guarantee that the goal of the work group or even the organization is achieved. Then she according to the theory or argues, she said that the most important part of the influences come from the manager and the leaders.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the 2 internal factors that could affect the business. And the first one will be organizational culture, and the second one will be physical resources. So from here you can see what is the organizational culture. So it related to how the company works and what's the relationship between the subordinates and the managers, and how they solve problems or how they deal with things when things get wrong. So it's all about the soft thing in a company. For the physical resources, it's more like a hard thing. So it's about equipment, it's about the location, it's about the people you employ, and it's about the facilities you use. So like in our business, the hot pool, it would be in it's not going to be in an urban area because it's natural hot pool. And so because because it's pretty dangerous if you don't treat it properly. So we need a most advanced equipment, things like that. You can imagine. And yeah, so organizational culture. So it's basically the underlying assumptions, belief, ways, and values with the company. So let's say, how can a culture affect, what's the possible organizational culture of our business? So what makes it different? So by enacting rules and policies, so like I just say, if they don't treat the environment well, if they don't treat the customer service well, it's actually dangerous because it's harmful. So we have to enact rules and policies regarding to this company to keep everything works well. And preserving the environment is also a concern. It could be a culture because they are making money based on the nature, so they have to work well with them. And yeah, just like I say, stay intimated with the nature and deliver beliefs to the team. So it's about culture. So you want to tell your employees that what is your belief, what is your goal, what's the values in your company. So you have to spread the beliefs so that everyone is working toward the same goal and operate accordingly to those values and beliefs. And how can a physical resources impact a company? So just like I say, physical resources is very practical. The location, the environment, the equipment, the facilities, the people you use. Yeah, we consider labor as resources as well. So see, this is what a hot pool would need, like in a facilities way. So you might need this kind of filter, a well-built pool, and you see this is based on the nature. So if you don't treat it properly, it kills people. So physical resource is very important if you don't treat it well. And it could have serious consequences, and it also have good benefit if you do it right. And so there's internal factors, of course there will be external factors. So the first one would be political factors. It could be the new laws, like new speech, new restriction. So for hot pool, it could be environment preserving, because sometimes the government try to protect the country, so they make rules to limit, like what can you do, you cannot fish too much, you cannot use too much resource of the nature. Secondly, there's social factor. So there could be news, disasters, trends. So let's say if there's a big accident happen regarding to swimming pool, like a lot of people die when they maybe in a disaster or some mistake happen from the gym, from the pool. Then people will have a how do I say? They are afraid of water. So you can see, like, after these things happen, they won't go to hot pool because it's kind of related. So like, if let's say the thing happens in Christchurch, they shoot people in the mosque. So you imagine that you automatically think of, okay, I won't be going to the mosque in the next few days because it could be dangerous. So it's like the social factors. Yeah, so what is the possible government factor that can affect our business, hot pool? So first of all, environmental conservation. So like, let's say New Zealand government say, okay, you can't use too much resource on the hot pool because you're gonna use it all, you have to preserve it, certain amount, certain limited customer in a year, in a month. Yeah, restriction. And the safety standard or commercial tourism spot. So let's say they make a law that make sure all the safety equipment is safe, so that people won't get hurt, tourists won't get hurt when they come to visit. And social factors, just like I say, if there was just a disaster happen recently, like related to hot pool, related to water, related to nature, people were afraid of doing activity like this in that period, because people will, that's how people work, right? They know there could be dangers or they are affected by the event, so they won't be going in that short period until they recover themselves, like mentally. And so for our company, I realized that situational leadership could be the best suited because it's always been changing. You have to depend on the environment, you have to depend on the social society, depends on the culture, events, all that stuff. So what is situational leadership? So it basically claims that there's no best way to lead a team, and you have to switch your style to fit the people you're working with, and also switch the style while things change. So yeah, so in this kind of business, there's a lot of unexpectation and things that you can imagine of. So make sure you don't stick with one style of leadership, and instead situational leadership could help by managing different tasks in different styles. And also another good suggestion is democratic leadership. Everyone knows what this is, right? So the employees can be more participate in decision making. So like, let's say there's a news event, a disaster happens. All different people have different opinions and ideas how to solve this kind of tourist shortage. So more ideas, the better, right? Because you have more options to choose and come up with the best one. So it's more creative. So creativity is encouraged and rewarded, and also they are very encouraged to give ideas. So it results in high productivity, strong contribution from the group, and better morale. Yeah. So we have a few questions regarding to leadership. You can take a look. And other than this, we have a Q&A about the things we discussed in the presentation. And anyone who answers, we get a So first, Alex will ask a question about his topic, and then I'll go for mine.
Does anyone has a question about leadership or influence of leadership?
Even if you ask question, you get a candy, and he will come up with some question as well if you answer it, no matter right or wrong. No one has question. They just ask.
Okay, yeah, one question. In your organization, if for example employees they are coming and in absence of manager they are not working properly, somebody is sleeping, somebody is just talking with each other, not focusing on the task, some people they are watching video.
You mean
on-
doing the work?
Yeah, so they are not working properly. So as a manager or as a leader, what you will do?
No, so we will consider it as an internal factor.
Mhm.
So basically, it's the core of the company. You have to treat it in a certain way, go through a certain process, not just like from a manager, you can decide the employees go or stay. So you have to maybe get opinions from other leaders or observe and write a report. And then, of course, you have to talk to the employee first. I mean, you have to warn them or like tell them what should they do, what they shouldn't. But if they just keep going, just give notice. Of course, if they really don't care about the job, if they're still doing it, then of course.
So according to Moody's, when she said that there are different steps when there's especially a personal problem between employees and leadership. The leadership is they're gonna have three kind of steps: talking, action, and performance. So They're gonna talk first, think about what is the product, what is going on. Then they're gonna perform while trying to find solutions. And as an organization, it's not right to have this kind of people for the organization. It's gonna make the performance of the organization get down.
Think you can move on to the next part.
Okay.
Does anyone have a question? No?
You can ask the question. You ask.
Okay, according to Jackson, he said that there are different three types of motivation. There are different types of motivation, or why motivation is really, really important. What are those?
So you guys can just say anything.
And why?
It doesn't matter right or wrong. Why is motivation important?
Because the employees from the company, they want to have a relaxed job. So if you know the motivation from the employee, you can help them to get a better job, like that.
Yeah, otherwise they just gonna get the salary and do their own things. Right? Any answers for that question?
Increase productivity. Yeah.
So like if you don't have motivation, all the people just gonna do what they are asked to do. They won't go for the next level. So your organization is just gonna stay as where it is. But if you motivate them, they might do something extra from their position. Of course, it helps the organization, right? Any answers?
Another question. According to Mullins in her book, she said something about culture. Why does culture and different backgrounds in a group of work is important? And why respecting them is important as well?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, according to Mullins, she said that the cultures and different backgrounds from different countries in a group of work is important, and respect those backgrounds. Why is important to respect them?
Diversity.
Yeah. So like basically in this class, we have people from like Chinese and like South American. But if a leader, they just focus on that specific group and ignore the others, or sometimes even they do something that Chinese can accept but not acceptable for other cultures, that's gonna like hurt the relationship within the workplace, right? So that's basically what we're saying. So I have a couple of questions as well. So let's say I was talking about the social factor, the external factor. Can anyone make an example of how a social factor, like the news, like an event, like a trend happening in a society, could affect the business? Any real life example? Small business, big business? So I'll start with the example. So like, let's say Apple brings up the usage of smartphone. That's like a trend, right? Before that, people use keyboard phone. So after the trend become, it kind of benefits all other phone company, right? Because before Apple, they're still struggling, but Apple becomes a trend, and then it helps all the usage of smartphones and becomes what they are now. So any example of how a social factor that could affect a business in a good way or in a bad way? Huh? 你随便讲呀。Okay, good answer. Yeah. Or you can look at the question and pick the answer, and you might have more ideas. Or if you're still confusing about the topic, you can watch a small video. It's not that funny compared to other groups, but
Think about this. If two managers are equally good with their skills, but only one is a team player, who will the boss hire or promote? The answer is obvious. Employers do not want only professional expertise and experience in their employees. They're also looking for other qualities, character traits for building rapport with customers and co-workers, interpersonal and communication skills that will help leaders steer teams effectively. You'll be able to stand out and advance faster in your career if you have these traits and skills. In this video, we'll share what some of these traits and skills are and show you how to use them in your interactions with customers, subordinates, supervisors, and co-workers. These tips have been taken from training programs in the Singapore Workforce Skills Qualifications for Leadership and People Management, or LPM WSQ.
so that's just an introduction, and that's all we need to watch. But basically, it's talking about like the things we learn from Remember Management. The most important thing in a business is people, not just the customer, but your employee. So it's very important to get well with managers, subordinates, all the people related. Yeah. So leadership is very important, and if you get it good, it really helps the business. Thank you very much.